You start a budget on the first of the month, feeling motivated. By week 3, it's a mess, and by the next month, you've quietly given up. That's not a discipline problem. Most budgets are built to break because they're too strict, too complicated, or based on money you don't actually take home. Today, a budget system that survives real life. We'll cover why 50, 30, 20 is a starting point and not gospel, how to pay yourself first, the subscription audit that finds hidden money, and tracking that actually sticks. If nobody ever taught you this, that's normal. That's why this channel exists. Quick note, this is general education, not financial advice. I'll point you to official sources like consumerfinance.gov and mymoney.gov, and for your situation, check with a qualified professional. First, the big idea, and it's where most budgets go wrong on line 1. Build your budget from your net pay, the money that actually hits your account after taxes and deductions, not your salary. If you budget from gross pay, you're planning to spend money you never receive, and you'll come up short every month. So step 0, find your real monthly take-home, and every category comes out of that number. Now, the famous starting point, the 50-30-20 framework. The idea is to split your take-home pay into 3 buckets, about 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and extra debt payoff. As an illustrative example, on $3,000 of monthly take-home, that's $1,500 to needs, $900 to wants, and $600 to savings. It's popular because it's simple and easy to remember, but treat it as training wheels, not a law. Here's why it's a starting point and not gospel. The ratio has to bend to your reality. In a high-cost city, needs alone can eat well past 50%. Pretending otherwise just sets you up to fail. If you're aggressively paying off high-interest debt or racing to build an emergency fund, you might temporarily push the savings and debt slice higher and shrink once. The 3 buckets are the useful part. The exact percentages are yours to adjust to your income, your city, and your goals. A quick note on the needs bucket, because people misclassify here constantly. Needs are the things you truly can't skip. Housing, utilities, groceries, transportation to work, insurance, and minimum debt payments. The streaming service, the daily coffee, the takeout, those are wants, even when they feel essential. Being honest about which bucket each expense belongs in is what makes the whole system tell the truth. As an illustrative rule, if losing it wouldn't threaten your job or your health, it's probably a want. Now compare the 2 ways people actually run a budget. The leftover method. Pay all your bills and spending first, then save whatever happens to be left. The problem is, there's almost never anything left. The pay yourself first method flips it. The moment income lands, you move your savings amount out automatically, then live on the rest. Same paycheck, completely different result, because your savings stops competing with your spending and simply wins by default. But here's the mistake that quietly kills budgets. Waiting until the end of the month to save whatever's left over. There's a reason it never works. Spending expands to fill whatever's in the account. The fix is to pay yourself first. Set an automatic transfer to savings for the day after payday, before you can spend it. Even a small amount, automated, beats a big amount you're always meaning to save. Make savings the first bill you pay, not the last, and the budget suddenly holds together. In about a minute, I'll give you the budget cheat sheet to screenshot, the whole system on one screen. But first, the fastest way to find money you're already losing, and the tracking habit that finally sticks. The fastest win in any budget is the subscription audit. Pull up your last statement and list every recurring charge. Streaming, apps, memberships, that free trial that started billing months ago. You'll almost always find 1 or 2 you forgot about or stopped using. Cancel those. As an illustrative example, trimming $40 a month of dead subscriptions is $480 a year for maybe 15 minutes of work. It's not deprivation, it's just no longer paying for things you don't use. One reason the subscription audit matters so much: small recurring charges hide from your attention precisely because they're small. Nobody agonizes over a few dollars, but a stack of forgotten little charges quietly becomes a real number every year. Put a recurring reminder on your calendar to run this audit every few months. Recurring spending deserves recurring review. That's where the painless savings live. Now the part that decides whether any budget survives. Tracking. The most common reason budgets die is that the tracking is too much work. So pick the lightest method you'll actually keep up. That might be an app that auto-imports your transactions, a simple spreadsheet you update weekly, or even the envelope method, where you assign cash to categories. There's no prize for the fanciest system. A 5-minute weekly check-in you actually do beats a perfect tracker you quit after a week. Now, the one thing nobody tells you about budgeting: the budget you'll actually keep beats the perfect budget you abandon. People quit because they aim for flawless, miss once, feel like a failure, and give up entirely. But a budget isn't a test you pass or fail. It's a tool you adjust. Overspend 1 month? You don't scrap it, you tweak the numbers and keep going. Consistency, not perfection, is what builds the money habits. A messy budget you stick with will beat a beautiful one you delete every time. Here's your budget cheat sheet. Screenshot this. 1. Start from your net pay, never your salary. 2. Split it into needs, wants, and savings, using 50-30-20 as a starting point you adjust. 3. Pay yourself first with an automatic transfer the day after payday. 4. Run a subscription audit and cancel what you don't use. 5. Track with the lightest method you'll actually keep, and tweak instead of quitting. 5 steps, and you've got a budget that survives real life. That's the system. Start from take-home, use the buckets as a flexible guide, pay yourself first, cut the dead subscriptions, and track in a way you'll actually keep. If this helped, the free Adulting Starter Kit in the description has a ready-to-use budget template plus a first paycheck checklist. This wraps our first batch of money basics, so subscribe and go back through the playlist for benefits, paychecks, credit, insurance, and the rest. You've got this.